Hey Moon Magic Super Souls, welcome to the channel, welcome anyone new and welcome back if you are already a part of this beautiful community. Now we're drawing 3 cards together today and we're asking for a message from a loved one on the other side. Either a person, it could be a person or a pet. In my meditations, my preparations, I heard very clearly it could be one or the other, or for some of you actually it's both. So messages from someone on the other side, a being, a very close loved one. That is what I also absolutely heard. So I'm going to draw these 3 cards just to set the energy for each of the readings. I will draw a rune as well and a charm. And if you find that more than one are speaking to you, Super Souls, just trust, because it may be that, you know, more than one person or more than one pet, or you might get a message from more than one pile. Anyway, here I am waffling away, my apologies. There's a very interesting energy here actually. I feel like messages are really trying to push through already. So pile 1, you have the card manifest. Okay, be clear on your outcome. Okay, pile 2, stability, set a solid foundation. And pile 3, we have understanding, happy couples understand each other. Okay. So those are our first 3 cards. We have pile 1, your rune is the rune of initiation. This is Perth. Pile 2, your rune is the rune of fertility. Wow. Pile 3, you have the rune of breakthrough. Wow. And pile 1, your charm, you have 2 hearts bound together. Oh, that is absolutely gorgeous. Then pile 2, you have the flamingo. And pile 3, you have a little fox. Okay. Beautiful souls, as I've said already when I was slightly waffling, you might find there's more than one message here for you. That is quite possible given the subject matter today. Messages from a loved one on the other side. This could be a pet, one of our beautiful fairy friends. It could be a person. There could be more than one pet or person trying to speak to you. So beautiful souls, I'll leave the video running for just a few moments longer. Take your time and I will see you in the readings in just a moment. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. You have Perth, the rune of initiation. This is like a rite of passage. It's very interesting. And because we have 2 hearts, the first thing I need to say to you is that whoever is communicating with you from the other side, they were a true soulmate. Whether this is an animal, a beautiful furry friend, or a human being, they were a true soulmate. Soulmates come in many different shapes and sizes. We often think about intimate relationships as being, you know, a soulmate connection, a twin flame, but in reality, people who come into our lives are beautiful animal friends who come into our lives to gift us with a connection. Often it's our animal friends actually who teach us to love. Sometimes people who have been so hurt, badly hurt, can initially build a connection that's real with an animal first, and that's a stepping stone to then being able to build a real relationship with another human being, as opposed to a real relationship with an animal first, because animals give us so much. I think that may actually be part of a message that's coming through for some of you. This is a general reading. I feel that you are being asked to be clear on your outcome, and it may well be for some of you that you are seeking some kind of an outcome of harmony in relationship. Now, this could be that you are searching for a soulmate partnership, that intimate connection in this current lifetime at this time, in which case you are being encouraged to get very clear about what you really, really want. Someone on the other side is sort of saying to you, you know, what do you really want? What's right for you? You know, get clear about this, and then, you know, you can be guided. You can find your way to this. Do you feel lots of different kind of layers of messages coming through? So I'm just going to draw some more cards and see what we are shown. So let's draw some oracle cards. Okay, this is our first. Ooh, okay. Wow. Spider spirit, make your dreams real. Now this is all about manifestation. Very strong message coming through from the other side, asking you to take charge of what you want. It's really, really clear. Make clear choices. They're sort of saying, don't limit your horizons. Don't box yourself in. Yeah, don't box yourself in. It's almost like don't leave it to chance. Just decide what you want. Be really clear about what you're looking for here. Okay, more cards, pile one. Let's draw from one of our tarot packs. This is the Fairytale tarot. Right, and what do we have here? Seeker of Hearts. Right. You have been really hurt in the past, broken-hearted. You may also actually have lost someone who you considered to be your one and only true soulmate, in which case they are really communicating with you very clearly now. These are the different messages coming through. Because this is a general reading, I will try and voice everything that I am hearing. But this is the Seeker of the Heart of Hearts. This is the Tin Man. You're being asked to open your heart to receive, but also be very clear about what you desire and what you want. I feel like you're in a position where you want to take a risk to love again, or even to step into love for the first time. Going back to that first message where I spoke about, you know, our animal friends. I think our beautiful animals really do sometimes come into our lives and teach us to love. They teach us what real love is about, unconditional love. Your reading, though, is actually saying, look, a healthy adult relationship isn't actually unconditional. It's actually working out what you both want and desire and need in a very real way, so that you can get clear on this and not end up being disappointed. So it's very interesting. For some of you, it is about manifesting a real love when you haven't felt that you could open yourself to love before. For others, you have opened yourself to love and been hurt, damaged, let down, and we are getting very clear messages. I'm getting quite a parental feel coming through here. I say parental. Some of you may have lost a parent. It could be a parent, or it's not exactly a grandparent. I sort of feel like there was someone possibly who looked after you. For some of you, they were a parental figure, but they weren't your actual parent. They weren't your blood parent. Yeah, that's coming through. Somebody saying, look, you need to get really clear on what you want, because you might be inadvertently manifesting things that you don't want. There's such a powerful message here saying, don't box yourself in. You know, oh gosh, they're also really saying that relationships are not set in stone. I think you maybe have experienced some repeating patterns of this pathway above and below, as if you felt like you're always going to get into the same patterns of relationships, or you're fearful of something happening again. For some of you, if you have lost someone who you thought was really your soulmate, the love of your life, you're fearful of, if you dare to love someone again, that you would lose them. You're being asked to banish fear from the equation here. And it's a difficult rite of passage to take, this daring to risk. But this is taking you a step further, beautiful pile one. It's saying not only are your, or is your loved one on the other side encouraging you to open yourself to receive love, but they're also asking you to take charge of this. Like, write a proper list of what really matters to you. What do you need? What do you desire? And this is not the stuff of, you know, the job, the house, the car. This is the stuff of the qualities of, literally the quality of your life with someone. Let's draw more cards. Draw some tarot cards, see what we are shown, pile one. I think your message is actually very clear. It's all about opening yourself to love, to trust. I'm going to take those and just pop them to one side. Let's look at these. Page of Cups. How interesting. Now the Page of Cups, pages, the energy, page energy, it's young. I feel it's young love. How interesting. Then you have, oh, look at this, you then have the Seven of Wands. Look how determined this person is. Okay, some of you may actually have already seen someone you actually really like, and it's possible that they are not your usual type, and your loved one on the other side, or loved ones for some of you, are really encouraging you to just pick up the baton and run with this. I'm loving the way the messages are coming through. There's so many, because I just feel like there's a stack of people standing around me and really just, yeah, can I just say something? Can I just say something? Yeah, for some of you, I'm just going to voice these messages as they come through. For some of you, you have, I would almost want to say you're a little bit besotted by someone. Page of Cups. You know, you're gazing at them here. I just think they are your kind of mirror of perfection, okay? And your loved ones are saying, look, just, you know, sort of to hell what anybody else thinks. You know, pick up the baton and run with it. How are you going to know if you don't go there and discover? But they're also saying, be really clear and open with this person about what is right for you and what you're looking for. Be direct. Yes, be direct. You know, make that judgment call. And don't do it blindfolded. This is delightful. Don't run into this with your eyes closed. I feel like some of you are a bit besotted by somebody. That's lovely. It's delightful. Love is blind. It's got that flavour. Someone's, you know, sparked your interest. Pick up the baton and run with it. But also just get clear on what is right for you. And be upfront about it. Don't hide what you're looking for. Be real about it, because if you're real, the other person can then respond to that. And if it's not right for them, then you're giving them a conscious choice as well. And whatever happens, the outcome will be good. I think you're fearful of disappointment. You're fearful of rejection here. And I see what we are seeing is actually a very delightful end goal here. So I'm actually just going to read these cards with a slightly different message as well, because I think, as I said, for some of you, I think there is someone in your sights. The message is clear. For others, you might be sitting in a space where you're dreaming of love. You're dreaming of that possibility, but you're not really going there. You're fearful of it going wrong. You're fearful of being disappointed. You're fearful that it won't. You're also fearful that you might make the wrong or the right choice. Message is really clear coming through here, making a choice. Yes, you're fearful. What if you start to connect with someone and then it feels like you're hemmed in, you're boxed in, and you're fearful of making the wrong decision? Well, you kind of got to go there to find out. But what they're also saying is empower yourself, manifest, be clear on your outcome. You can voice your choices every step of the way. I'm going back to that same message coming through, which is, in the beginnings of any kind of relationship, you have to open yourself to receive. You have to let someone in. But then the clearer you are about your intentions, the more clear they can be. And we get into an organic space of choice. And I'm seeing again where both parties have choices that are open and honest and out there. I mean, look at this card. Choices are really visible here. You're fearful of walking this rocky road and you're fearful of it going wrong. But actually everything here is suggesting that it could most definitely go right. In one way, this card may be telling me about your fundamental desires. But in this position, I do feel it is an affirmation as well, actually, of this being a very real possibility. Some of you actually also, you may have children and you may be wanting to approach someone and you're wondering whether your circumstances, your history, as it were, where things have gone wrong, might get in the way. This person is, I feel like this person's introducing a child here. She's looking remarkably receptive, beautifully receptive, welcoming. Yeah, I'm not seeing problems in the outcome. I'm seeing problems in the past, and the messages coming through with such abundance in terms of, make your dreams real. Don't be fearful of being hemmed in. The answer, you're being given very clear guidance here. The answer to making this real for yourself is about the way you approach this, not just looking through rose-tinted glasses. I mean, that's delightful, and we should never, never, never do anything with that delightful spark and that fabulous connection. But it is really, really important as well to be clear and open and honest about your circumstances along the way, because then disappointment is avoided because everybody knows where they are. Yeah, so whether you are dreaming of love and you haven't yet initiated it, or you've seen someone and you're thinking of initiating it. Right, okay. Right, I have a card here that I'm going to need to just cover for YouTube, so bear with me. Okay, we're back. So, we've got a Page of Cups as well. This is inviting you to take action. Definitely, there's so much encouragement here and a kind of, come on, it feels like, you can do this. Just get very, very clear. Really think about what you want and then take action. This is definitely a time for you to move something forwards. I'm seeing these two ships here, and one coming in behind the other one here. Choices. Again, messages coming through. Be open and honest about what you want. I think some of you definitely have someone in your sights, in which case pursue them. I don't mean pursue them in a creepy, stalky kind of way, but in a good way. Take action. Approach them. Pick up that baton and go with it. Put aside those fears and be really honest and upfront about what you desire. Get clear on your choices. For others, if it's a sort of a distant dream, you know, almost like a distant wave where you kind of think, I know what I really want, but, you know, can I dare to go for it? Just get really, really clear about what you desire, and then allow the universe to orchestrate circumstances that will give you those choices, show you those, open those doorways for you. Literally, that's what we're seeing here. And then we have the Star. This is very beautiful. This is the card I had to just cover. This is hope, it's optimism. I'm seeing with all these flowers, these lilies, lotus blossoms opening. Look, this is really, really doable. This is really doable. You may even have felt that it was never going to be doable, or you may even have just sat back and accepted the Tin Man, that, you know, this was how life was going to be. Again, really reiterating some of you learning to love and losing someone or an animal, losing something. This is part of your learning to love, and you're ready for this. Whatever fears you may have, beautiful souls, pile one, the messages are so clear at however this is connecting to your unique circumstances. You know, fundamentally we're looking at trust here. Perth, this is about learning to trust. It's an initiation, a rite of passage. This could not be a stronger affirmation for you in terms of working out exactly the quality of something that you desire. Predominantly, I do feel this is about relationship. If for some of you it's something else that you're manifesting, it's certainly something that you really, really will love. And it's almost as if you're fearful that if you dare to have it, it will be taken away. Those same principles within the messages are applying, but for many, many of you, I do feel this is all about love, all about an intimate relationship. The reading has really moved in that direction. Beautiful pile one. I feel this is your reading. I feel it is complete. The messages have been coming through so clearly. I am sending you all the love in the world and the biggest hug ever. Yeah, I'm just hearing, get back on your horse. It's coming through here. It's so delightful. I'm here, get back on that horse. Come on. You know, ride forth. Pick up that baton. But do so with awareness. You're older, you're wiser, you're more experienced. You've learned. Yeah, chase that dream. Chase that dream, because it's very, very possible. Just get clear and be clear. Get clear and also be clear. Those are really big messages coming through. Pile one, I will send you all the love in the world all over again. So beautiful souls, if this is resonating with you, you know, thank you for being here, and thank you for liking, sharing and subscribing. My bigger All Zodiac readings are available on Patreon, which is another site. It works on the basis of donations. Because I'm very passionate about manifesting with the moon, my monthly readings are in alignment with the moon rather than the calendar month. Beautiful souls, I will just put every possible link to all the sorts of things that I do that might be of interest or value to you in the description box and in a pinned comment. Super souls, your messages are very clear. Tons of love. Hey pile two, welcome to your reading. You have the card of stability, set a solid foundation. You also have the flamingo. These birds are bright and beautiful, and they can stand on one leg for prolonged periods of time without falling over. I feel like there is something about being bold, saying something. You're being encouraged to say something, or what is this? Bring something to, it's not to a completion, but something needs to be done in your world at the moment. Something is requiring visibility in order to move something else forwards, and this is a message your loved ones are really voicing. We need more cards, that's for sure, so let's get to it. May we have a message. You have wolf spirit. Turn knowledge into wisdom. And we have, seeing this one, and that one. Okay, and I'm going to draw from the Fairytale tarot as well. May we have a message for my beautiful pile twos, please. Okay, so you have the Eight of Crystals. How interesting. The 8 is a sign of infinity. Set a solid foundation. And she's dancing on ice. Okay, let's put that over there. We have details, details, and then we have deep freeze. How interesting, my beautiful pile twos. Right, details, details, pay attention to the details. I feel like this is, you know, crossing the T's, dotting the I's. There is something in your world at the moment that is requiring attention to detail in order to make sure that you're on solid ground. Pay attention to details. I think it's interesting that she's dancing on ice, and here we have the deep freeze. We see lots of ice and yet a pool in the middle here. Clearly we need to draw more cards for you, my beautiful pile two, which we will do. But messages from those on the other side. For some of you, there may be a dog who was really loyal. There's an issue of loyalty here. You may actually have known that the moment you saw the wolf. Such a loving face. Someone who is very, very loyal to you is really rooting for you on the other side. It could be a dog, someone who would have stood by your side, would follow you anywhere. It could also, of course, be a person. You are being invited here, that they're sending a message that's very, very clear. There's a circumstance or a situation around you that has, it's genuinely got long-term possibilities per se, but it's basically whatever this point in time is for you at the moment, there is something that you need to do with this to make it be a solid foundation. You're not being advised to push forward fast with something. Now, this will be unique to you. It could be like even something as, I don't know, like a house move or signing a contract about something or establishing something. But you're being asked to get it right effectively, and that's an interesting language to use, because in many ways, you know, whatever we do, there's no wrong or right way. We just learn from stuff. But there is an opportunity around you to do something with great detail and with great pride and with great attention. It's this loyalty, this commitment to something. And even if it takes longer than you might have originally thought, like it's not going to get off the ground as quickly as you would have liked it to do, I almost feel like there is something you quite like to run with, dance into the sunset with, move forwards quickly. But what they're saying very clearly actually is, look, don't rush this. Fertility is a fruit-bearing rune. It's loaded with potential. It's loaded with long-term potential, with the figure 8, the infinity symbol. But look at this, even with the snails here. The snails sitting next to an acorn, an oak tree. An oak tree takes time to grow. But my goodness me, how magnificent it is. Slow. This is a slow and steady wins the race. It's not just slow and steady wins the race. That's there. Slow and steady wins the race, but it's also about doing it really, really well. It is building that foundation. In the little book that comes with this card, they speak about the fact that, you know, once a house is built, if it's not built on solid ground, it's pretty difficult to add the foundations later. You can do so, but you've got to prop it up. Well, they haven't said all this, but you have to prop it up with scaffolding. They've pointed out that it's helpful to build things on solid ground. You know, get your foundations right, and everything else flows from it. Okay, that's the way we see this. You know, whatever we do, if we get it right to start with. I'm having all sorts of housey things coming through, which is interesting. But I remember speaking to a painter and a decorator, and he said, you know, the work in creating a beautifully painted room, he said, you know, 75% of it is the preparation. And then the painting is the bit at the end that makes it look fabulous. And he said, you know, as a painter and decorator, people think I just paint things and make them look lovely. It's the preparation. So there's something you're doing. Turn knowledge into wisdom. There's something you're doing. This will be unique to you each. I think it could bring you visibility with this flamingo. Bold, bright, beautiful. I think it could give you long-term visibility, or I say visibility, long-term stability. There could even be financial gains coming from this. But be loyal to the detail. Really minded. Many of you may have actually had a very, very loyal dog who sort of may even have slowed you down. Actually. Sometimes when we have our animals, they slow us down, they remind us to get still, they interrupt our day in the best possible way. If you have a dog and you need to walk the dog, then however busy you are, you make the time to go out and walk because that's right for your beautiful animal. But actually, it's right for you. There's something here about slowing down. And your animal, it may not have been a dog, but it was very, very loyal to you. It's really reminding you of those times when, you know, just take your time, be present to what's needed. Let's draw more cards. Here I am waffling away. But do you know, I almost feel all these cards arriving. This is fascinating. There are too many here, I think. But in fact, no, I may stay with them. I'm finding myself almost slowing down in the reading. You know, it's taken this long to get to drawing your tarot cards. Now, all these came out in a big rush. And I'm thinking, do I use them? Don't I? Actually, we will use them, but we'll look at them slowly and steadily. There's a real slow, steady energy here. Yes, the Four of Swords. Take your time. Gosh, you may need to lay something to rest as well. How lovely. We've got the four, say 2 fours. We've got the 4 and then the 3. So we've got a 4 of Swords, the 3 of Cups. Yeah, all in good time. We've got the Sun. We have the Empress. We have the Knight of Coins. Ah, your reading is becoming very clear, actually. We have these 3 cards, which I'm just going to place over here for a moment. How interesting, the exact same number of cards came out for your reading as I drew in pile 1, and yet yours just came out and went, boom, here we are. What I'm seeing is something that is maybe taking longer to get off the ground. It's loaded with potential, and you know it's loaded with potential. It really is full of fertility with the Empress card. Loaded with vitality, potential, long-term magnificence, long-term potential financially for some of you as well. What is coming through? Your message from someone you love. They're actually just saying to you, look, don't rush with this. I think once you have the foundation in place, And you may be itching to make this happen, but they're saying don't cut corners. Don't cut corners. Do you know, I'm also, some of you I think as well, may have, there may have been a significant teacher, mentor, for many of you, a teacher as a child who was really significant and important to you. This is coming through. Someone who either said something or encouraged you in some way or gave you something specific. And although it was a professional relationship, for many of you, I am sort of seeing like almost like an old-fashioned schoolhouse and these children here. But they gave you something that was very key to a pivotal moment of you becoming you, the person you are today. Maybe they gave you encouragement and you'd never received that at home before, or they validated you, or they gave you a special book. I'm seeing a book coming through, and that book led you to something, led you to be curious or to investigate things further. That's what's coming through here, to see things with clarity. And this person was very significant to you, and they are coming through with a message saying, look, don't rush at this. Do you know, a lovely message is coming through. Somebody said something to me, literally, I was at a social event yesterday in the evening, and somebody said something to me that was just delightful, and we really chuckled. His daughter had gone to school and full of confidence, actually said after a few days was getting a bit bored, and said to their teacher, this is like a teensy weensy little soul just starting school, and said, look, took the teacher to one side and actually said, look, you know, I was told that when I came here I would learn to read and write. Well, I've been here for 3 days now and I haven't learned this yet. So this beautiful, eloquent child sort of had great expectations, and then was like, well, I've been here 3 days, why hasn't it happened? And we had such a giggle about this, and the delight of this belief. There's something that you know in your world can really build something significant for you. Whatever this is for you, it will be unique. It's a long-term dream. It's something that's very real for you. This is an affirmation that this is very real, and it will, I think, genuinely come to fruition in a really big way. But right now, it's not going to be achieved in 3 days. You need to take your time, because the preparation that you put in now, the attention to detail, is what is actually going to create that solid foundation. And these cards are then showing us that once that solid foundation is there and it's done really, really, really well, this is going to fly forwards. We have the 8 of Wands. This is a card of action. We have the Moon. It's like you'll cross the bridge. At the moment, you're feeling like you're not really sure where it's going. You'll cross that bridge. And then look at this. We have the 7 of Cups. We're seeing abundance. Every cup is full of different things, different choices, different options. The foundation is key here. This is what your message is here. And I do feel we've had a strong presence from people who were loyal to you, or animals who were loyal to you. Whether that was in a professional capacity, like a teacher, that message coming through. Animal friends, your cats, could be any animal friends. I'm actually seeing like a little gerbil and a hamster coming in, who just would have, even as a child, sat with you and told you not to go round and round on the hamster wheel. You know, get off it. Don't be in a rush. Don't be in a hurry. See, it's the same thing. It's the same message coming through. Don't be in a hurry. Take your time. Reflect as you move through this. There's so much encouragement for something you're doing or building or creating. And it will give you long-term stability as well. It's going to give you massive choices in life. Massive choices. I'm seeing so much success. It will move forwards pretty quickly once you establish the foundation. The rune of fertility says the same. The rune of fertility requires completion of beginnings. And then the fruit-bearing aspect of fertility can take place. You need to fertilize the ground for your own deliverance. The completion of beginnings is really crucial because it's like setting the pace, establishing your business plan, let's say, if you're creating a business, working out the outline of your book if you're writing a book. Whatever this is for you, I could come out with billions of different examples. You'll know what it is. There is something absolutely unique to you. And it's looking magnificent, but it requires the foundation, because it will be incredibly difficult to go back and redo the foundation once you've started trying to build this. So pile 2, your reading is so clear. And everyone on the other side, people and beautiful animals, they're all really loyal to you. There's this real sense of loyalty and also a desire to see you succeed. And they're also very adoring of your get up and go to make this happen in the first place. They're loving that, but they're also saying, look, slow down, get this right. It's really important. Pile 2, this is your reading. I am sending you so much love. I'm really excited for you. I'm sure you will know what this is if this reading is resonating with you. Beautiful souls, thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. It is an honor and a privilege to read for you. And my goodness me, I just feel like there are so many rooting for you. It's wonderful. Beautiful souls, I was about to say I will put links to anything and everything that I do that may be relevant or helpful to you in the description box and a pinned comment as well for phone users. I do have all zodiac sign monthly readings out now. Now, because I'm very passionate about manifesting with the moon, my monthly readings are in alignment with the moon rather than our sort of calendar months. But if those are of interest to you, they're on Patreon, which is a different site, and I will just put all the links in the description box for you. Beautiful souls, slow and steady wins the race. I think it'll take off quite quickly actually once the foundation is in place. It's just that's the bit you've got to get right first. Super souls, tons and tons and tons of love. Hey, pile 3, welcome to your reading. You have the card of understanding. Happy couples understand each other. The very first message that I think is coming through is I think you lost somebody that genuinely really understood you. Sort of your rock, your anchor, someone who would have just known what you were thinking before as you were thinking it. I think you've lost somebody. It could be a parent, a family member, a grandparent, a partner, but somebody, a best friend. Came through very loud and clear for some. A best friend, I feel like somebody's shouting, don't forget best friends. You've had someone in your world who is no longer with us. I'm sorry for your loss, who really knew you through and through. They could have anticipated every move. If you were sitting together and you thought something, they'd have known you were thinking it. Somebody once described this to me. It was a delightful way. They call it each other's Bluetooth system. It's like they've got their own Bluetooth thing going on. So we have the rune of breakthrough, Degas, and also a fox here. Foxes are adaptable. They adapt to new circumstances, and the breakthrough rune is very interesting energy because it's very dynamic. It can suggest a complete about turn in some sort of circumstance, but let's draw more cards and see what we're showing for you. What is the message coming through? I do feel we have people on the other side, very present, who really knew you in that way. Someone there for you who had that connection. I'm not saying that might not have also been an animal brother or sister, where you just knew that they knew. If you were not okay, they'd have been so responsive to you. Those moments when you're absolutely fine, they're off chilling out, doing their own thing, but the moment you're not okay, they're on your lap, giving you every bit of love and connection. But that is what's really coming through. It's this strength of knowing you. Let's draw cards for you, pile 3. What is the message that's needing to be given to you today? From someone or a being who clearly knew you through and through. Okay, we have Ant Spirit, time to collaborate. Okay. That's the one. And we have I'm seeing this one as well. Okay, so we have Protecting Treasure and Mountain. Let's put these up here actually. How interesting. And then we have Two of Hearts. Beautiful. Okay. Okay. Okay, beautiful souls. I feel that you actually lost whoever this is in relatively recent times. Relatively recent. I mean, I'm not saying it was yesterday. Oh, my apologies. There was just an interruption at my door. One moment. Okay, I put you on pause for a moment there. Beautiful souls. I think that's actually part of the message. So what I want to say is, I think that you lost this person, for some of you, I say relatively recently, so it could have been very recently, and for some of you it will have been a little bit longer, maybe a year or 2 or even 5 years. But I don't feel like I'm going back a long time. However, I also think for some of you it was unexpected. It was a loss that came just when you thought things were fine. There was something about an interruption. Either way, your world was massively interrupted. Massively interrupted. It's like all the pieces, these pieces of the jigsaw, like the pieces of the jigsaw fell apart. In essence, you're reading my beautiful pile 3, and I am so sorry for your loss, really, because I think it sent you into this space of absolute retreat, and absolutely rightfully so. You know, we do need to withdraw from the world when things happen to the best of our ability. It's like you've slightly locked yourself away, and your reading is all about you kind of coming out of your shell almost, or 180-degree turn, starting to rebuild something, starting to collaborate, starting to reconnect with the world, starting to join the pieces back together. The foxes are adaptable. They adapt to new environments. But this card, the card of understanding, even though the reference point is happy couples understand each other, that what this is really speaking of is the fact that to build almost like a Bluetooth relationship, it takes time. You know, very rarely we can meet someone who just knows us, almost from the moment we meet. But generally speaking, relationships which have that sort of connection take time. And I feel you are being given a message here to say, look, take your time. You can rebuild. You can climb that mountain. You can come back into the light here. And also you can risk, if this was a partnership, you can risk loving again. Either way, it's about loving life. We have 2 dolphins here. We also have 2 birds here. I don't know if you can see that if I hold it right up to there. Can you just see in the light 2 birds together? There's also a very strong message here as well. your Bluetooth connection from the other side is just reminding you here that your connection is there forever. Your connection is there forever. It will never be broken. Breakthrough. It will never be broken. I feel like this is like two people. Look at this, a mirror. There is no reverse to this rune. It is what it is. Very interesting. If you turn it this way, it looks like an hourglass. You know, yours was a soul connection. Whoever, or, you know, if it's an animal brother or sister, whoever this is, they fly alongside you. They sail alongside you. They swim alongside you. They are always there looking at you. Can you see this connection here? Gosh, the temperature in the room has just plummeted, and the hairs on my body are all standing on end. This connection will never, ever, ever be broken. And they are really assuring you, even though it feels like you have had to pick up the pieces, trying to work out how to climb the mountain, they are always with you. This is a really big part of this message for you, pile 3. Always with you. They will always be walking alongside you, flying alongside you, swimming alongside you. Even the ants, 2 ants we have here. They will be working with you. Time to collaborate. They will literally be working with you from the other side, making the magic happen in your world. Whether you feel, sometimes you feel like you can't feel them anymore. A lot of the time you do, but this is a real reminder of them being there. We have these 2 fly agaric mushrooms. These are magic mushrooms, very poisonous actually, so don't go eating any, but nevertheless, they have magical properties. They are mushrooms that are often associated with the visions of the fairy folk. Again, seeing through the veil. You're needing to adapt to the new, my beautiful souls. And they are recognizing and saying to you, look, of course this takes time. Don't give yourself a hard time. Let's draw tarot cards for you and see what else we are being shown. Okay, we have the card of the devil. Okay, we have the 7 of Cups, we have the Hermit, let's place these here. Okay, so just going to put these up here for a moment. Okay, so we have the card of the devil, you have the 7 of Cups, you have the Hermit, you have the Page of Coins, and then you have the World. Right, your message from them is really, really clear, which is that they are with you. They will never be not with you. They are walking beside you. It is, however, time for you to begin to find your way back into the world, to evaluate the choices that are available to you, to develop your adaptability, to climb that mountain, to come back into the light, fully into the light. You've been a long time in quite an isolated position here, but it's time to move forwards. There may well be an offer of something here for you, and I think you're uncertain about accepting it, and they really are encouraging you to accept it, whatever this is. Someone coming forward giving you an opportunity to move something forwards. Now we have also the 7 of Wands. You see him picking up the baton with determination. Again, look at this, the 4 of Cups, someone offering you something here. Right, I feel like you're in a place where you're slightly swinging like a yo-yo a little bit, where maybe you find the energy to pick something up and get out there, and then you're so exhausted from it, because it's actually it's a big deal to pick yourself up and get back out there if the world feels like it's, you know, the bottom dropped out of your world. But you're being assured here that this is slowly but surely you will get there, okay? What I'm seeing in the Five of Swords here is they're sort of asking you to be really kind with yourself and recognize that resilience, adaptability is something that needs to be taken gently. I do feel like there's a swinging like a yo-yo where you embrace something and really go for it, and then you try so hard that then the exhaustion kicks in and you sort of collapse, and you're just not able to sort of see it through, and then that sort of depletes your self-esteem. And they're just saying, look, take your time with this. With the Devil card here, the Devil is ultimately a card in its highest vibration of liberation, of cutting cords. This person, this loved one, is clearly saying to you, we are not cutting cords. I am with you. I am walking with you. But you also still need to have a life. There's a really big affirmation about you having a life, climbing that mountain, having all that life can offer you, having the world. It doesn't change anything. They think the world of you. You don't have to feel guilty about this. They think the world of you. They're kind of saying to you, look, you know, to really honour what we had means embracing the world in its fullest and living life in its fullest, sort of in memory of what we had. And that might for some of you include a new relationship. I feel like you swing like a yo-yo. If any of you have ended up, you know, the Devil can speak about addictions. If you've ended up eating too much, drinking too much, again, you may be trying to approach the resolution of this by going all out. It's a bit like if you've been, you know, comfort eating, for example, and then you go on a radical diet and you try so hard to the point where it's impossible to actually see it through. And then you sort of collapse back and eat tons of ice cream. And there's something about this swinging like a yo-yo. Just take this steady. There are opportunities around you. There are actually choices around you right now. You're being offered opportunities, offered different choices, different pathways that you can test the waters on. And again, I think you range from sometimes thinking, yes, I'll do this, and then backing out. I'm going to draw more cards for you, my beautiful pile 3, because I feel this has been very tough for you. Very tough indeed. May we please have some more information. I'm actually going to bring in a different pack of cards. I haven't used these. I have them ready, but haven't used them in any of the other readings. Now this is a Chakra Oracle. What are we shown here for my pile 3s? Wisdom, gossip, completion, renewal. Okay. Here we go. Lovely. Right. Some of you, I think, are slightly bound by what you think other people will think. You know, when you move forwards from something, and a bit like if you did lose the love of your life, and then, you know, what if you start a new relationship? What will people think? But this is actually such an affirmation. Every single person coming into this reading on the other side, every single being is saying to you that it's time to be adaptable. It's time to climb that mountain. It's time to sort of lay this to rest, knowing that I am always with you. It's like this person is giving you permission to be in the world, of the world. If it's an animal, they are giving you their 100% support, potentially even to get another one. Maybe if you have been deliberating about getting like a rescue baby or another animal, but you've sort of felt like, gosh, no one, nothing would replace the one I lost. And also if you were traumatized through the loss of that, if it was unexpected and sudden, you may just be thinking, well, I don't know if I could go through that again. You're being really, really supported in doing this rather than this all or nothing kind of mindset, really being thoughtful and kind to yourself, knowing that it really is time to lay the past to rest and to move on and to embrace life and all that comes with it. Look at this, she has the world again. We have the world here. This person will always live on within you. This is what this card is saying to me. Look at this person behind her. If you ever are uncertain, all you actually have to do about something, all you have to do is get still, ask, and you'll get a message. This person, this being, this beautiful animal, this fairy friend, a message will be given to you. It will be granted to you. Almost like literally it will appear in your hand. It could be a sign, a synchronicity. It could be a bird, a white feather, something. If you ask something, the wisdom, the guidance will be given to you. This person is walking alongside you. This animal is walking with you. They are never going to leave you. Don't worry about what people think. And indeed, get out of your own way. Stop going over and over stuff in your head that's stopping you from moving forwards. It's time to release yourself from those kinds of internal thinking patterns that hold you back. It's time to be flexible. It's time to adapt. It's time to embrace the magic that life has to offer. It's time for this to be laid to rest in the knowledge that this person, this animal, this being, this soulmate connection is with you, and that connection will never be broken. Pile 3, this is your reading. I am truly, truly sorry for your loss. I can see the depth of that connection. I can feel it. But slowly, gently, it is time for you really to allow yourself this space of renewal. Pile 3, I'm sending you all the love in the world. I really, really am. And the hugest hug. Beautiful souls, if you follow all zodiac sign readings and you're interested in checking in on mine, they are on Patreon, which is a different platform. It works on the basis of donations, but you can dive in and dive out. There's no long-term commitment to it. So do check them out, and you can give as little or as much as you wish. It's entirely up to you. But if they are appealing to you, do check them out, because I'm very passionate about manifesting with the moon. My readings align with the moon month rather than the calendar month, but you can check those out if that's something that you think might be of help to you. Otherwise, beautiful Pile 3, I am sending you so much love and encouragement too. Beautiful souls, I look forward to seeing you again for another reading, and thank you so much for subscribing, liking and sharing.